Hello, Max here, and last night Jeff Kaplan dropped a developer update on the internet with details on how Season 2 of competitive mode is going to play out. It's no secret that Season 1 was not the highest polished experience we've come to know and love from a competitive Blizzard experience. The developers told us many times that Season 1 should be thought of as more of a test phase, a global beta test while they figure out how competitive mode should work. Season 1 was the second iteration of competitive play tried and tested by us the players. The first was available towards the end of the closed beta period, and it was widely disliked by those of us that were able to playtest it during that time. Although, after living with coin flip's sudden death for a whole season, I would love to play a tiebreaker random control point again. Yes, that's right, draws would happen a lot more often, and sudden death would randomly select a single point of control map to play out and decide the winner. I didn't like this at the time, but would prefer it infinitely now over coin flip, especially since Tracer is by far my best hero. 71% win rate on her over the grind to 65 at the weekend. Oh yes. The beta competitive ladder was similar to Hearthstone's progression grind fest, where any player can climb if they put the games in. Rank could just be an indication of time played and not skill at the game. We were not happy with the control tiebreaker, and we wanted a ladder system that demonstrated skill and ability. Blizzard went away, listened to our feedback, and in the meantime released the game without a competitive mode so everyone could discover the wonder of Overwatch while they tinkered and experimented with competitive play. They came back with some new ideas they wanted us to play through for a season and see how it felt. There were many improvements over the beta system, but it still had frustrating elements that after a full season of play, Jeff had stated they were not happy with. The Season 2 changes sound like they are going to be a huge improvement. Of course, this opinion is without playing Season 2 yet, but I am very happy with the direction they are taking this. Skill rating is getting an overhaul. No more percentile 1 to 100 because it just doesn't work like that. Achieving rank 60 puts you in the top 6% of players. Yes, I know Master Overwatch or Overbuff says top 15 to 12% for rank 60, but I'm gonna believe Blizzard stats over a third-party website. These websites can only track the stats of players who actually check their profile, and I'm guessing high-skilled players are more likely to be interested in how they are performing, which could explain why there is such a large difference between Blizzard's figures and the third-party websites. 60 out of 100 doesn't feel like an achievement, but being in the top 6% of Overwatch players should. Skill rating for Season 2 will be 1 to 5,000 and no more incremental skill changes. Depending on how you perform in the game, you will gain or lose whole numbers, and the 1 to 5,000 rating will be split into 7 tiers: Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, Master, and Grand Master. A tier system anyone who has played StarCraft or Heroes of the Storm will be familiar with. These skill tiers will have a range of 500 rating, which doesn't quite add up as we only have 7 tiers and 500 goes into 5,000 10 times, but perhaps the lower tiers like Bronze and Silver will be larger. I love this as it now becomes so much easier to define ourselves as a player. I'm a Diamond player sounds so much better than I'm a rank 60 player, especially since you could lose a couple of games and drop down to 59. With the new system, you are likely to move up and down within a tier, or at the very worst say, oh, I hover between Platinum and Diamond. Those who do achieve Diamond Master or Grand Master will suffer skill rating decay if they do not play. If no competitive games are played for 7 days, those in those ranks will lose 50 skill rating every 24 hours until they hit the bottom of the Diamond tier. This is pretty standard across competitive modes in most online games, and I think it's fair for the top end players. If you have achieved those incredibly high levels, you shouldn't be able to just hold a spot there without defending your place. I'm really excited for the new skill rating system. Of course, this really is just a new way of displaying the information we are already given, but this feels so much better. I honestly had no idea I was in the top 6% of players, and just knowing this alone is very motivating to play Season 2. Road to Masters just sounds so much better as a YouTube series than Road to Rank 70. Under this new rank system, you will only be able to queue for competitive with players who are within 500 skill rating of you. Just using simple math, that would be like bringing it down to 10 skill rating difference in Season 1. While this is a little rubbish that we will not be able to queue with all of our friends, this system was a little crazy and played havoc on the matchmaking, creating unbalanced matches. It was even being exploited by higher tier players to boost their way into top 500. A rank 70 would queue with a rank 30 to 40 Smurf account that had purposely tanked their rating. The enemy team would then be made up of players in the mid to late 50s that a 70 skill rating player could easily dominate with a hero like Genji or Tracer. Reducing the gap between the players in the same queue will stop this kind of boosting and generally lead to better quality games. At the end of the day, what I'm looking for from my competitive experience is to try as hard as possible to win against an equally skilled team that are also trying hard to win. The rewards and my place in the skill rating is all well and good, but if I don't get what I want out of the actual gameplay, I will lose interest and the rewards will be meaningless. These changes should leave us with better matchmaking and therefore better games more often. Competitive points are being multiplied by 10. This means golden guns will cost 3,000 points and you will earn 10 for a win. Don't worry, your existing points will also be multiplied by 10, so you're not going to lose out on any of those competitive points. This just allows them to be more flexible with the point distribution, which is good because they are also abolishing sudden death. Matches will be able to end in a draw, and when they do, both teams will still receive some competitive points. Obviously, we all hated the coin flip sudden death mechanic, so I don't think anyone will be sad to see this go. The time bank system currently in place on 2-point capture maps like Hanamura, Volskaya and Anubis will be implemented on payload and hybrid maps. This means if both teams successfully push the payload to the end of the map, both teams will use whatever time they have remaining to push the payload again. This makes draws only really possible if both teams fail to capture objective A or not to move the payload at all. I have to say I used to firmly be a stopwatch or nothing kind of guy when it came to payload maps, but someone made a very good point to me about time bank that has got me on board with this system. With stopwatch, if the attacking team get a good snowball going, they could smash through the whole round in 3.5 minutes, which is a very difficult time to beat. With time bank, you will get a second opportunity to defend if you can push the payload to the end of the map. This means the team that snowballed has to be more consistent with their play and not just win off one mistake that spiraled out of control. Of course, if they snowball again, well then the defenders had their chance, and I think you can say without a doubt that the better team won. I'm sure we, myself included, will all find ways to be salty about losses, but it's going to be much harder to blame the system after these changes go in. And on the very rare occasion a game does end in a draw, we'll still get some competitive points and our skill rating will not change. I love these changes. I've tried to be objective here and not just melt into a dribbly fanboy mess, but these all sound like fantastic improvements on Season 1, and I honestly cannot wait for Season 2 to start. We will be able to playtest Season 2 on the PTR at some point in the very near future, and I will smash out my placements and play some games just as soon as it's available. I'll feed back thoughts and feelings when I do. In the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter for updates as I get them at TotallyFutile. Our Patreon campaign allows this channel to keep going while we're still growing our sub base and can be found on patreon.com/cynicalnerds. Thank you so much to everyone that is supporting us over there. We stream 4 nights a week on twitch.tv/cynicalnerds, and there will be a bonus competitive grind stream tonight. That's Tuesday, August 16th at 6:30 PM British Summer Time. If you're looking for friendly people to play games with, you can join the Cynical Nerds Discord. There will be a link to it in the description. Until next time, take it easy, and I'll see you soon.